And welcome to the preview for Liverpool versus Chelsea on Saturday night at 5:30. And this game is massive for both sides. I'm sorry if I sound a bit blocked up. I have got a stinker of a cold right now. But anyway, that's not going to stop me from recording my preview for the game. But anyway, Liverpool Chelsea, always a big game in the calendar for both sides. Obviously, both clubs will be looking to compete for that elusive title. And Liverpool have got all the guns to win this game, but so have Chelsea. To be fair, Van Dijk versus Lukaku. You've got Alisson versus Lukaku. What else? It'll be a tough battle for us. It will be a tough battle for us. And I've mentioned his name twice already, but Lukaku is the one player that we need to keep our eye on for this game. Obviously, he will be the main danger man. I expect him to be a real threat coming into this game, and we need to have our best possible team for this game. And I think we do have our best possible team for this game. I'll get into the starting 11 shortly, but again, like there's loads of talking points for this game. I mean, the winner will certainly have a massive boost going into the international break, being on around 100% win record. And obviously, we both want to be in the title race. So if you're on the team on 100% win ratio, then you can only be pleased. I mean, it's the best possible start you can get. Both teams are capable of winning. Both teams are capable of completely messing it up as well. It's a question of what team turns up on the day. Obviously, it's at Anfield, so it's hard to say whether Chelsea can cope with the pressure at Anfield. But they've done it before, but these kind of players wouldn't have experienced something like this recently. So, and I expect Anfield to be absolutely bouncing for a game like this. Quick word on the Liverpool-Burnley game. Obviously, I was at that myself, and the atmosphere was obviously unbelievable, and I expect the atmosphere to be just as good this game, if not better, because of how big this game is. But obviously, the Liverpool-Burnley game as a whole was it was routine, really. We had chance after chance after chance, and there was a period in the game where I thought, could we maybe see this heading for a 1-1? But as soon as we scored the second, it was game over, obviously. And those positives we can take from the game, we can work on even more for this Chelsea game. And I expect that to be the case. Sorry about my cushion, by the way. I know you can see that in the shot. Apologies about that. But anyway, I expect this to be... Again, I expect it to be really hard for us. But Chelsea will be expecting the same from us. And if we play like we did against Burnley, obviously there's a complete difference between Burnley and Chelsea. But if we play like we did with the same intensity and the same flair, there's no reason to say why we won't win. And just going straight into that, we're going to go straight into the starting 11 prediction. In goal, obviously we're going to go with Alisson. There's no reason to change. There's no reason why we should ever change that position. Same with the fullbacks. I say that and he's coming back in. I'm saying Robertson will come back in for this game. It's tough to say whether he should start this game or not, but personally, you play your best players in these games, and if they're fit, you play them. And Robertson is clearly fit, so I would start him. Right back, Trent, easy enough. He was probably man of the match against Burnley, but there were a lot of other great players as well, obviously. But he was, when I was there seeing him, I think he was probably man of the match. And in centre back, I would stick with Van Dijk and Matip for this game. It's too big of a game to throw Kanate into, and Gomez isn't quite there yet, but I still think our best partnership is Van Dijk and Matip at the moment. And Van Dijk will need to be there, obviously, for the physical battle with Lukaku. That's why people maybe would say start Kanate, because he's more physically demanding than Matip. But Matip is a fantastic aerial presence as well. And so personally, I would go with them too. In the midfield three, I would probably start Fabinho in the central defensive midfielder role. Obviously, he lost his father recently, so it's completely up to him whether he thinks he's ready or not. But if he is, then I think he'll start this game in the number 6, and I think Klopp will go with the same, pretty much what I've said so far. Obviously, Klopp understands they're humans first, and the only way I see Fabinho starting is if he personally thinks he can play in a caliber of a game of this caliber. And then the two in front of him, Henderson will start captain. He's got to start. He was magnificent as well against Burnley. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't play this game. And then it's the debate whether who should be the third midfielder, whether it should be Elliott's been thrown into the conversation because he also had a very good game versus Burnley. But you've got Keita, who started the last two games, and you got Thiago, who's probably the best out of the three. Obviously, Thiago isn't fully match sharp yet, and this may be the game to get him that match sharpness. But it's tough to say. But personally, if I was to go with what I think Klopp will go with, I think he'll go with Keita. But if it was up to me, I'd go with Thiago, and I'd risk him this game. So I'm going to say for mine, Thiago, for Klopp, Keita. And I would be fine with either, really. But I think Thiago's got to start playing games eventually, otherwise he's never going to get that match sharpness. Whether I don't know if he has been called up for the Spain squad on international duty, but if he has, I would like to see him maybe get some minutes there as well, because he needs that freshness again, because he didn't when he came on against Burnley, he did look a bit slow. But yeah, I would start Thiago. And the winger roles, I'd like to go with Mane and Salah. Obviously, I feel like the only real debate is whether Mane should start. People would argue that Mane hasn't been at his best. I would argue that he's actually been decent. He's not been great, but he's been decent so far. Salah, first name in the team sheet, really. And then the centre forward role, or striker, whatever, people would probably say bring Firmino back in, but I think it's hard to drop Jota at the moment, and Jota's got to start. And so personally, Mane, Salah, and Jota for me. And I think Klopp may actually bring in Firmino for this game, because obviously trustworthy Jota, he's on form right now. It's hard to see him not play. It really is a selection dilemma for Klopp, but it's a good one in a sense. But you hope that he just doesn't go mental or anything. But it'll be tough. It'll be tough to see these boys come up against Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea, European champions, always going to be a tough test. Obviously, we expect them, along with us, United and Chelsea and Man City, to be firmly in this title race. And obviously, breaking news as of recently to see that Ronaldo could be off to Man United now. And that I'm not sure whether that'll bring them into the title race more, because I feel like that's not the kind of position they need. But obviously, it will strengthen them massively. It will strengthen them absolutely massively. And the question of whether we sign any players between now and then in the windows, obviously there's been the rumours of Bissouma and Ocampos. Whether we sign those players, I don't know. I genuinely do not know whether we sign these players or not. I'm a bit more reserved on us signing players now, because we've looked strong in the first two games, but now with our Champions League group, obviously it's a bit of a group of death. So we need to just... I feel like one or two signings between now and then, down the deadline. I don't see it happening, but I'd like to see one or two signings between now and the deadline, because we need more options when it comes to the midweek fixtures, i.e. the European fixtures and the cup fixtures, if we decide to go on a European... unless we decide to go on a cup run this season. And it will be interesting to see, really, between now and then the window. Obviously, this has been already a mad window, with Messi going to PSG, Mbappe probably going to Real Madrid, and Ronaldo going to Man United. Probably the top three of the best five players in the world, or something like that. I mean, it's a mental window, and Liverpool have just been quiet enough. Obviously, we've got all our contracts on the table, and I expect two more to go through. That being Henderson and Salah. I expect Henderson to be announced any day now. And Salah, it'll come eventually for Salah, but he'll be one of the last ones. And going back onto the game, obviously we've mentioned his name so many times, but we've also got so many other players as well, like Mason Mount to worry about. Kai Havertz obviously will obviously be a big threat for us, and we need to keep our eye on these kind of players. And the defence has got to be on point this game. Van Dijk and Matip have got to be alert. Robertson, Trent, they've got to be sound defensively. They've got to see the good cover from Fabinho, and whether the midfield of Henderson and Thiago or Henderson Keita come in, they need to cover as well. Every player needs to fight for every ball. It's as simple as that. And on that note, I think I'm going to wrap up this video, because I've been talking for nearly 10 minutes now. And so yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what your predictions are for the game. And if I'm going to give my prediction for this game, I'm going to say I can never go against my team. I can never go against them. So I'm going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1. And I think, I think Jota will score both. I think he'll have a good game. I think he will. And yes, so like I said, leave a comment down below what your predictions are for the game, what your starting 11 would be as well. And yeah, until next time, sayonara.